Welcome to the lecture, everyone. So we are going to start with a big data with Azure. And before starting ahead with the big data with Azure, so let's try to understand that how Azure is going to help us out in terms of processing a big data. See, guys. So whenever we are talking about any kind of a system which can help me out in terms of processing a big data, so obviously it is supposed to follow a 3 V's concept, or you can say a 5 V's concept, which I have already discussed in my big data masters classes, and I believe you all can go and you all can check out, because that is a basic definition. Again, nothing technical, but yeah, so that's a basic definition. Now, even if I'll talk about a Azure ecosystem, so just like any other big data ecosystem, Azure provides you end-to-end each and everything, and which will be able to process a big data with volume, velocity, and variety. So I have prepared a beautiful documentation for all of you, so that we can try to revise each and everything, and we can even know, or we can try to even understand that how Azure is going to help me out. So whenever we are talking about a big data, so basically the very first part which comes in our mind is a data ingestion, right? So basically data will be available in different servers, or maybe in a different services, in a different databases, maybe in a different messaging system. So there can be n number of system or thousands of systems out there where it is going to produce a data, right? It is going to produce a data, and you have to ingest all of your data somewhere to process it. That's part number one. Part number two, that data can be available in any form. So maybe in a structured format, maybe into a semi-structured format, and maybe into a completely unstructured format. Again, you have to process that particular data set. So here, if I'll talk about a Azure Big Data ecosystem component, so we have a data ingestion services, pre-configured services, which is available inside a Azure ecosystem. Now, the very first part is Azure Data Factory, basically. So whenever we are receiving a data, whenever we are getting a data, so we can try to use basically this Azure Data Factory. So by which I will be able to ingest a data. I can try to use Azure Event or Event Hub, by the way. So for like doing a real-time data streaming, and it's a Kafka compatible. We can try to use Azure IoT Hub. So if we are receiving a IoT data in our ecosystem, we have a Azure Synapses pipeline, so which is going to help me out in terms of creating end-to-end workflow. So in case of data ingestion, we can try to use these services. Doesn't matter from where we are receiving a data, we can connect these systems with any systems out there, right, which is not a part of Azure ecosystem, and we will be able to ingest our data. Now, once we are able to ingest a data, right, then obviously we have to hold a data, right? We have to store a data somewhere. Now, in terms of storage of a data, so we have Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, in short ADLS, right? In short ADLS. So basically we have a Azure Data Lake Gen 2, we have a Azure Blob Storage, which is nothing but, you will be able to find out that it's part of now this one itself. And we have databases inside Azure. So we have SQL databases, we have a Synapses SQL pool, or we have a Cosmo DB inside a Azure ecosystem for storing data into a NoSQL, not only SQL kind of a system. Again, many of you are not aware about these names. That's completely okay. This is your class number 0 for Azure Big Data, by the way. So it's completely fine. So you are just supposed to be familiar with all of these terms, because anyhow, we are going to explore those terms in a practical manner. Now, so I'm able to ingest a data, right, by using any of these services, depends. So which services and from where I'm receiving a data. And then I'm able to store a data. Then obviously I have to run the process. I have to like run a business logic. I have to run maybe my business rules over there. I have to maybe filter a data. I have to maybe create a complete end-to-end pipelines to perform some of the tasks. So this is where this data processing comes into a picture. And Azure provides a complete integration with a Databricks. There is a Azure Databricks services which is already available. So yeah, Databricks is a separate platform, but even inside an Azure, you will be able to find out Azure Databricks services. And when you are going to launch that Databricks service from Azure, it is going to use a Databricks resources. You can go out and you can directly use a Databricks where it is going to provide you a serverless compute and all the services, right, in terms of building the entire end-to-end pipeline. You can even connect Databricks with respect to AWS. That's completely okay. And that is also I have shown you in my Databricks masters classes. So you can go and you can check out those videos if you are interested. But here, if I'll talk about Azure, so inside Azure, it provides you a Databricks integration by default. So it's very easy to launch. Just with a couple of clicks, you will be able to launch a Databricks from Azure, by the way. And you will be able to do a big data processing. And as we know that Databricks is a powerful framework, powerful tool, you can say. So where it is allowing you to process a data by using Spark engine, which is 100x faster than a legacy system, or you can say a map reduce system. So that is available. There is another service called as Synapsys Analytics, which is available, which is going to help you out in terms of doing a data warehousing or any kind of analytics that you would like to perform on demand. Then there is something called as HD Insight. HD Insight is nothing but it is going to give you a complete cluster. So in my Big Data Masters class, I was talking about Cloudera, right? I was talking about a Cloudera service. So, and I have also used a Cloudera in my offline mode, in my local system, in my local computer, in that like a course, by the way. So here, it is a equivalent service which is available inside, almost equivalent services which is available inside Azure, which you can try to use, and you can try to build your own cluster, right? Everything in a managed manner. So you don't have to do much, by the way. Just have to go select the number of master node, number of a slave node, and maybe like a scalability option. You can try to select services that you are looking for. Maybe you are looking for a Hive, maybe HBase, maybe Kafka. So everything it is going to configure on top of your HDFS file system. So this is where this HD Insight comes into a picture. It's a legacy one, right? It's a legacy one. But yeah, so if someone would like to create a custom cluster and they would like to set up all the services, it's possible. It's possible. And that too in the easiest way. You don't have to do much. Just select the service and Azure is going to configure it for you. Then there is something called as Azure Stream Analytics, which is going to help you out in terms of doing a real-time streaming and processing and creating a live dashboard and alert. So this is a unit you will be able to find out in case of Azure. And you can try to use any of this unit to process our data. Now, so ingestion is done, right? Then storage is done. Then processing is done. Processing of the data is done. Then what is next, by the way? Yeah, what is next? So next is, if I'm able to process a data, I will be looking for some analytics. Maybe I'm looking for some sort of AI ML kind of things, right? Where I can do some sort of a prediction or something. So over here, we have Azure Machine Learning Studio. So this studio is going to help you out in terms of doing a model training, deployment, development, and creating the end-to-end pipeline. We have a Power BI, right? Power BI is also a part of Microsoft family, or you can say like a deeply integrated with the Azure. So which you can try to use and you will be able to do a visualization. You will be able to build a reporting. And there is something called a Synapsys Studio. So even you can try to use this Synapsys Studio for visualizing a data that you have in hand. So with the help of these tools, you will be able to do a data analytics from a Azure ecosystem. Now, so I'm able to do a visualization. On top of everything, right? On top of everything, so I need a security and governance layer, because doesn't matter whether I'm doing a ingestion, whether I'm doing a storage, whether I'm doing maybe a processing, whether I'm doing a analytical operation, but I need security and governance, because if I'm trying to build some sort of an enterprise grade application, then obviously security and governance should be the integrated part of it. And yes, Azure have that one. So Azure is going to provide you AAD, which is nothing but Azure Active Directory. So which is going to give you a role-based access control. So it depends upon the role of a different stakeholder, you can define it, and only that visualization, only that set of the data, only that set of the table, they will be able to access it. Something like that. Then there is something called as Azure Pure View. Basically, so this is again going to help you out in terms of doing a governance. And then there is something called as Azure Key Vault. So Azure in itself is an ecosystem, right? So with the help of a different services, it is trying to give you, it is trying to provide you this entire things, which will help you out in terms of processing a big scale of a data on an enterprise for our enterprise application, by the way. Yeah. So these are the services that we are going to explore, more or less, you can say. Example I have already mentioned, but yeah, that example is coming from the same thing, I would say. So we can try to ingest a data from any services, maybe like IoT devices. Then we can try to stream process the data using Azure Stream Analytics or Databricks structured streaming. Then store a raw data into ADLS, Azure Data Lake Services, by the way. And then again over there, so we try to create this layer. So generally, in a big data world, you will be able to see this 3 layer. Again, these 3 layers are just a concept, by the way. Yeah, bronze layer, silver layer, and gold layer. So basically in bronze layer, we try to keep a raw data. It's nothing but just a database, or you can say a storage layer unit. So where we just name it that, okay, this is my like a bronze layer. So I will try to keep only raw data. Now this is my silver layer. So maybe I'll do a filtration processing or something. This is my gold layer. So here my final data will come. Something like that we try to configure. So this is just a concept, and we are going to see this concept in everywhere in a big data market or industry, I would say. Now, so once we are able to do that, then we can try to query with the help of Azure Synapse SQL servers, or maybe we can use any other processing unit as we have discussed above, right? And then once my final data is ready, once my warehouse is ready, then I can try to do a visualization. And then on top of that, so we can try to secure the entire platform. Fine. Yeah. So if I'll talk about the advantage, obviously there is a lot of advantage you will be able to get. So everything in one single place, right? Everything in one single place. But Azure is not the only one, by the way. So if you will go to AWS, you will be able to find out a similar kind of ecosystem. If you'll go to just a Databricks, you will be able to find out the similar kind of ecosystem. If you will go to GCP, you will be able to find out a similar kind of an ecosystem. So selection depends upon your clients and a company tie-up. If your company or if your client is like a partner of Azure or Microsoft, so in that case, obviously they will be using a Azure related services. If they are partnered with AWS, then they will be using AWS kind of a services, or GCP, or maybe Databricks, right? So it actually depends. It actually depends on a stakeholder's decision. As a techie, I'm supposed to know everything. And it's not very difficult to know each and everything with a couple of hours of practice. Believe me, with a couple of hours of practice, you will be very, very comfortable. And in a mind, you have to create a lineage that, okay, this is for storage, this is for ingestion, this is for storage, this is for processing, this is for analytics, and this is for maybe a security. That's it. This is something that you have to fit into your mind. And believe me, if you are able to fit that concept, that lineage, that line into your mind, you will be able to develop, you will be able to build, you will be able to solve any kind of a complex problem in a world of big data. Doesn't matter which environment you are going to use, which platform you are going to use, which services you are going to use. It's that easy in today's environment when we are talking about AI, right? When AI is everywhere. So I hope this overview is clear, and this overview has given you a clear idea that what we are going to explore one by one, one by one, one by one. So let's begin. Let's begin with Azure Big Data, or Big Data with Azure, and let's try to explore each and everything in step-by-step manner from our upcoming class. With that, thank you so much, everyone. Take care. See you again.